Good morning, everybody. 6 a.m. I just got off work at 12 o'clock last night. But we're at it. Off to duty. First step to my service for our great country is driving an hour to DC. An hour and 15. See you guys on the road. Man, on a morning like this, nothing like some 20-cent iced coffee in my wife's cup to keep me going. So I'm about halfway to DC from where I live. Thought it'd be a good time to talk about why I do this in the first place. So I'll give you the abridged version because I'll make another video of the long story of why I joined the military and stayed in the reserves. But the short story is it was a job and it offered fairly good benefits for someone who had no adult working experience. I worked on a farm for 4 or 5 summers, and I worked as a secretary at a school, and I worked at a burger joint, and I also worked with my dad on the side. He owns his own business repairing RVs. But I had no real certified training. I was 18, really I was 17 years old when I joined. But that doesn't mean there was no call for service to the country. But if I were to tell you that was my primary reason, I'd be lying. I have no idea how the audio in this video is going to turn out. I've never actually recorded a conversation while driving on the GoPro. So I guess we'll figure that out together. So then I got out of active duty after 4.5 years, stayed reserves. I just passed I'm coming up on my 5-year anniversary of service. So basically, today is the start of a 100-hour work week for the next 7 days. Now let me break down what 100 hours means. So I have a normal civilian job, and then I'm also a United States Navy reservist. My job is a full-time job. It's a 40-hour-a-week paid, plus I have to take a half-hour unpaid lunch, so it's really 42.5 hours. But I didn't count that extra half-hour. So what it comes down to is, for 6 days, I am fulfilling my duty requirement for the next 3 months. Every month you're required to do 2 duty days. Those duty days are all 8-hour periods. So Saturday, Sunday, I'll work 16 hours. Monday, Tuesday, I'll work another 16 hours, 36 hours. Sorry. Monday, Tuesday, I'll work another 16 hours for a total of 32 hours. And then Wednesday and Thursday, I'll work another 16 hours, totaling 84 hours. 84 hours. Where the hell did I come up with that number? Another 16 hours, totaling 48 hours. So those 48 hours, wow, that was cool. Penske truck just cut in front of me. So those 48 hours, plus the 40 hours I work at my normal job, you got 88 hours right there. And then on top of that, I live about an hour and 15 minutes, but I'll just call it an hour, away from DC. So for those 6 days of duty, I have to drive from my home to DC, there and back, totaling about 12 hours of driving time. So the 88 hours of actual work, plus the 12 hours of driving time, you got a 100-hour work week. Now, if you don't like the way I did the math, call it an 88-hour work week. It still sucks. No, not a coffee. Just kidding. Yeah, nothing bad. So like I said, every single month you're required to do 2 duty days. I happen to do my duty in Washington, D.C. And then on top of that, once a year you're required to do a 2-week period for training. Usually you'll go on a det to wherever. You get to not choose, but you can request where you want to go. Now pretty much nobody does the reserves for money. Basically the short story of why I stayed in the reserves is to keep mine, my wife's, and now my son's healthcare. Of course I forgot my glasses. For my family, for our healthcare, it costs about $250. After 5 years of service, after 3 years of service I was second class, but at 5 years of service is what I am now. From one reserve weekend, I get about $250, $260. That's after taxes and a life insurance policy and all that kind of stuff, which is automatically deducted from my paycheck, obviously. So basically, I do this 1 weekend a month to fully cover my family's health care. Now, if that price doesn't seem like a great deal to you, it might be because you're comparing my policy to a catastrophic life event policy. Basically, there are policies out there you can buy with like a $7,000 yearly deductible, and that's great. But I have a son, and being a little boy at one time, I know we require many doctor's visits. I have basically no deductible anytime we need to go to the doctor. So yes, basically I do this just to keep affordable, amazing coverage healthcare. It's like my 4th time going to this base from where I live, and I'm not 100% on it. I might need to whip out the phone and pull up the maps. But of course, never while driving.
In 3.2 miles, merge onto Branch Avenue North.
Now, I could have taken the week off of work, or I could have just stood my 2 days a month for the next 3 months. But I'm also the kind of guy that just bites the bullet, gets it done so I don't have to deal with it later. I'm not necessarily late, but I wouldn't call my arrival time on time.
Turn left onto Virginia Avenue.
I'm gonna have to take you down because I'm coming on base. I can't record the process of going through the gate. And that's it. I just went inside, mustered for my 07, and now I'm going to the gym because there's nothing for me to do. One of the best things about working on this base, about doing duty on this base, is the gym here is amazing. For 7 a.m., this thing's pretty packed. just before I do my pre-lunch muster and then my post-lunch muster, I came out here. This is Base Lake. It's on the base. It's right in the middle of the golf course. So you got, I think it's the back 9 over here. And you got the front 9 over here. But this golf course goes all the way to the front of the base. It goes all the way down there. You got the flight line over here. Hangars, you got hangars over there for the big birds, towers over there. But earlier there was some like swans flying around. I don't know where they went. Oh, there's a stork way over there. This base is really nice. Air Force. I mean, this isn't an Air Force base. I mean, this isn't an Air Force base exclusively, it's a joint base. But it was the Air Force's base first, and predominantly it's the Air Force's base. But really the reason I came down to this lake, it's more like a pond, is just to find an aesthetically pleasing area to record some content for some videos I'm going to be making in the future. So you won't see that content in today's vlog, but you will see the content in the videos to come. That content is going to include stuff like why I joined the Navy for active duty, why I chose my rate, might go over like my military service, what it's like to be deployed, why I got out of active duty, why I stayed in the reserves, my pay, taxes when you're in the military, maybe talk about my pay now as a reservist. If there's something you would like me to talk about, maybe you'd like a wider group of information, maybe some of the other military YouTubers out there aren't providing the direct information that you're looking for, leave a comment down below and I'll try and make a video on it, or I'll try and at least record the content this weekend and then I'll make a video in the future about it. General information that most people want to know, or most people looking to get into the military want to know. So really the big thing I'm going to record today is how much you make in the military. I'm going to break it down for my 4.5 years of active service, exactly how much I made in total, and then I'll break down what I paid in taxes for the last year because I had a very high earning year for my last year of service. That was a combination of things. I made E5, went on deployment, so I was in a tax-free zone. My BAH went up because I moved to a more expensive area. Just a combination of a bunch of things. And then I'll probably talk about my taxes for last year. I paid a ridiculously low amount. So if you want to check out any of those videos, hit subscribe. Hit the notification button so you don't miss the future videos. I'm going to take a pause from recording that content for the future videos. I'm going to go muster, and I'm going to go eat. I'm going to go muster, and I'll come back out here and continue making some stuff. Alright, let's go get some food. The place we're going, I didn't know about. It's on base. It's at the golf course like headquarters, where you pay for your round and get your clubs. They have a restaurant at the headquarters, and they make some pretty good barbecue. They also give you free coffee, and their prices are pretty unbeatable. So we'll go there, eat a little food, and relax. I got it last time. I got the Reuben. Probably get the Reuben again because I'm kind of a Reuben guy. I maintain a list in my head of the best Reubens, and this one's probably about ranked 3rd on my list. Now, I haven't tried every Reuben across the country or world, but number 1. Now I don't even remember the name of the restaurant. I'll put a photo of the restaurant here. But the Reuben in Denver, Colorado, it's off the 16th Street Mall. Can't remember the name, but you'll know it because I'll put a photo up. The Reuben and the fries, and then the whole atmosphere of the restaurant, but really we're just talking about the Reuben right now. The best, hands down Reuben I've ever had. I went before when me and my wife were there for like a week and a half. It was actually the recommendation of one of the valets. And he said, oh, go 2 blocks down, 16th, take a left and go down about a half block. On the left, oh my goodness, it's the one. And it's stayed at the top of the list since I ate it. But before that, the number one Reuben was from the, what's it called? Queen Mary in Long Beach. On the ship of the Queen Mary, we were doing a car show, this Toyota Fest. They were holding it in the yard, the grass field outside of the Queen Mary. And me and my wife decided it'd be cool. Well, at first we didn't decide it was gonna be cool. At first we stayed at some super sketchy hotel, and I had just finished building my car for the second time, and I thought it was gonna get stolen. Like, it was not a safe place to be. It was fine. We ended up being okay, and then I met this other guy who was an Army veteran who might not have been like the most trustworthy guy, but he kind of ran that hotel. He didn't run the hotel as an employee. He ran it as the probably the resident drug dealer. I'm not 100% sure what his title would be, but he told me he'd watch out for my car, and he did. He stayed out there all night, just watching my car, not doing anything else. He was a real bro. Okay, he wasn't selling drugs. He was just watching my car for me. And the car ended up being okay. The next day we woke up and went to the Toyota Museum, Toyota Headquarters USA, and they have a museum there, and they had all of the cars in their original specs. And then the next day, after that, we had booked the hotel for 2 nights, but after the first night we were like, we are not staying here, no way. And then the other thing was the car show was like 30 minutes away, and we had to, because the car was in the show, we had to be there at like 6:30 or something, even though the show didn't start till 10. That's one thing people don't know, or maybe they do know, but that's one thing most people don't realize is when you bring your car to a car show like that, Wick Fest, Toyota Fest, 86 Fest, all those kinds of shows, the owners of the cars have to show up at like 6 a.m. or earlier, depending on when the car show starts. Most of the shows, they'll start at like 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, which means the owners of the cars have to have their cars in spot, usually by like 7 o'clock or whatever. They have to be in spot. They have to be on spot and shut down well prior to the actual starting of the show. So we had to be there like 6 a.m. It was like a 30-minute drive. So we ended up just saying, screw it, we're staying at the Queen Mary. It was freaking expensive. It was like $360 for one night. But on the ship, there's a restaurant. Back to the original story. On the ship, there's a restaurant. And for the longest time, that was the number one Reuben. That Reuben was expensive, though. Everything on that ship was expensive. But that Reuben, I think I paid like $26 for it. It was pricey. And the number 3 Reuben is the one we're about to get right now. Alright, so I'm at the golf course. Got my Reuben, my fries. At least these aren't like the crinkle cut Walmart fries. Got me some sweet habanero barbecue sauce and an Arizona iced tea. Talking about one thing will make Graham Stephan happy. Well, my ass melted, but at the golf course, they offer one of the greatest perks. That's free coffee. So I made Graham's 20-cent iced coffee for free. Already drinking 2 cups today. But like I said this morning, I work nights. I get off at 12 o'clock. Woke up at 5 o'clock today to get to DC at 7 o'clock, and I now have to stay here till 3 o'clock. So when I drive home, I'm going to be tired. I'm not eating the Reuben yet because it's hot. The Reuben here is so popular. The 3 men before me ordered it, and I ordered it, and then the guy behind me ordered it. That's how good it is. Came outside because there's a bunch of people inside. And I'm sure they don't want me to record them. Yeah. It's still hot. I always ask for extra crowd. That was a big hot bite. It was worth it. Got my free iced coffee. The name of that restaurant. Oh man, it's hot in here. The name of that restaurant was Smokehouse 54. And that Reuben was good. It's pretty good. I got a feeling I'm going to be eating that a lot this week. Sadly. Need something a little bit healthier. Man, it's hot out here. Alright. Back to the reserve station. I'm going to go muster. And we'll get back out to that lake pond thing. I'm going to do some more recording, some content, for some future videos. Catch you out there. Well, the good news is it is 1500 and I am off duty. So the bad news is there is a ton of traffic out here, which is sad. I hate traffic. Who likes traffic though? If you like traffic, leave a comment down below. I just came from living in California for 4 years, 2 of which were near LA. But the other 2, I went to LA a lot for car shows and whatnot. So I know about traffic, and it's bad. I hate it. But I'm off duty, I'm going home, gonna go see the baby, and relax, and then get some sleep for tomorrow. Another day.